Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole. If you enjoy beauty, fragrance, and makeup, you are definitely in the right place, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now today's video is going to be all about a semi-new release from the brand V Canto called Misiarte. So I feel like this perfume release kind of fell underneath the radar just because it wasn't super easily accessible in the United States. Now, not only am I going to be giving you all the details about this new fragrance, but I do also have a tip for saving money on this fragrance and a few others. So if you're excited to hear my thoughts about the fragrance Misiarte and enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started right now. So this is actually my very first fragrance from the house of V Canto, so I am so excited to share all of my thoughts. Now, when this fragrance first dropped and I first heard about it, when I heard the notes of pineapple and coconut, I basically went on a rampage trying to find this fragrance. So for the longest time, I basically did not have any luck until it finally hit Jomashop. Now, I had actually never ordered anything from Jomashop or any of the other distributors that are often referred to as ordering from the gray market, so I was a little bit nervous. But my experience was actually all positive from ordering from Jomashop. My order did ship and arrive in about a week, so not too bad on the shipping, and I also was able to get a serious discount. Now, no, this video is not sponsored, and I did purchase this fragrance myself, but I did at least want to mention it because if any of you out there are interested in saving money on your fragrance purchases, just wanted to share with you I did have a good experience ordering from Jomashop. Now, of course, always be careful, do your own research, your due diligence whenever you are ordering any fragrances or anything for that matter from third-party or gray market distributors, but again, just wanted to share my experience. Now, on the website, it did mention that, of course, your product should be 100% authentic, but it also mentioned that the box and any of the packaging that your order ships in may not be in the original packaging. But to my surprise, Misiarte arrived in all of the original packaging, so that was definitely an added bonus. So Misiarte is from the Souls of the Castle collection. So let me just show you what the packaging looks like up close. So it does have a sleeve, and on the back it talks a little bit more about the fragrance with the name. And this is a removable sleeve. And just wait until you see this packaging. So let me tell you, this packaging is actually more heavy than the fragrance itself. So kudos to V Canto for overall phenomenal packaging. So that was actually just the top portion of the outer box. So once you remove the top, it does come in the inside box right here, and it has a sleeve that you pull down. That way you can get the box out. All right, so here is the inner box. So as I said, packaging is absolutely stellar. So let me open this up, and just bear with me, you guys. I'm super excited. This is definitely the most fanciest packaging I've ever received. So it does have a little card there with a bit more details about the fragrance. And here's the bottle. Misiarte. So as you can see, this bottle is absolutely stunning. It is of course all white with gold trim and a gold cap. Now what's really impressive is the material on here actually feels like velvet. So it is not plastic. So take a look at this beauty. All right, you guys, so I did just have to go answer my door. So I can't remember exactly where I left off. I think I was showing you this beautiful presentation of Misiarte. So next, let's get into the main accords and notes. So again, Misiarte is from the Souls of the Castle collection. The main accords are sweet, powdery, fruity, vanilla, coconut, and citrus. So the top notes are grapefruit, pineapple, Calabrian bergamot, and Brazilian orange. The middle notes are coconut, damask plum, jasmine sambac, leather, raspberry, and lily of the valley. And the base notes are heliotrope, musk, caramel, Australian sandalwood, and ambergris. So I really wanted to get this review up as quick as possible, even though we are still in the middle of winter. At least we are here where I am living, even though this fragrance is more geared towards summertime, because I noticed there weren't many reviews of this fragrance on YouTube. So if you are expecting this fragrance to be a very sweet, sugary, and tropical gourmand fragrance, this is not what this fragrance is about. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my sweet, sugary gourmand fragrances, especially in the summer. However, I was so drawn to this fragrance because I really wanted something just a bit more sophisticated and elevated to add for layering to those sweet sugary gourmands, or just something more elevated to wear on its own in the summertime. And that is exactly what this fragrance provides. It is incredibly well blended, very sophisticated, and I would say on the mature side. Now, in my opinion, in order to be interested or to really appreciate this fragrance, you absolutely, hands down, have to appreciate musk and ambergris. Those two notes are definitely the main players here. Now, I know this fragrance is probably best marketed towards summertime, but in my opinion, this could actually be a year-round signature scent. So upon initial spray, I definitely pick up the plum, pineapple, ambergris, and musk immediately. So especially on the first spray, it definitely comes across as a very fresh, citrusy, and musky scent. So overall, this is a very bright, sophisticated, and uplifting fragrance. Now, the one note I can definitely pick up as far as the fruits go is the pineapple and plum. So those are the two notes that definitely stand out from a fruit aspect, but I also get a lot of lily of the valley. Even though that fragrance is listed as a middle note, I definitely do get it in the opening. So it's a little bit fruity, a little bit floral, and it definitely is more on the fresh side. Now that I'm actually taking a look at the notes broken down, I definitely do pick up the heliotrope as well. So I do find this fragrance is just a little bit creamy, and I'm not sure if the sandalwood is lending that component. But overall, it's not super creamy, just a bit. Now, the other note that my nose definitely picks up is the leather. So you definitely have to like, or at least appreciate, leather in fragrances. Now, it is not animalic, it is not sharp. The leather in here is incredibly smooth and well blended. So that's why I think this fragrance would be an incredible layering piece, because when combined with your very sweet and tropical gourmand fragrances, especially in the summer, this would just add an elevated sophistication to the fragrance. Now, I do have the notes broken down, printed right in front of me down here. So I do want to go through those notes kind of one by one, because whenever I am doing any sort of blind buying, there are definitely certain notes that I gravitate towards, and that can influence my decision on whether I purchase a fragrance or not. So as far as the top notes go, the one note I can definitely pick up from the beginning all the way through the dry down is definitely pineapple. So this is a very heavy pineapple scent. Now, I don't mean heavy in the sense that this fragrance is heavy. Far from that. In fact, it has quite an airy quality to it. But what I mean is, the pineapple is definitely one of the main notes as far as the fruits go. Now, I can't say I would have been able to pick out grapefruit, bergamot, and Brazilian orange specifically, but this definitely does have a very citrusy opening. Now, once we move on to the middle notes, coconut is the first note listed. Now, to my nose, I do not pick up any coconut whatsoever. So if you were worried that this fragrance was going to resemble suntan lotion, no, far from it. Now, I think you'd be able to tell that there is definitely a floral component to this fragrance, but I really do not pick up too much jasmine, at least the jasmine that I am used to smelling, but I definitely do pick up lily of the valley. So this is almost a very light, watery, and airy fragrance, and I do think that lily of the valley note is quite prominent. Now, in the base, sandalwood is the wood note that is listed. Now, I've actually never smelled a sandalwood note quite like this, and I think that's because this fragrance is just such a high quality. You know, at the end of the day, all of these notes are just blended incredibly well. It can be pretty difficult to pick out each individual note, except for, as I mentioned earlier, the pineapple, musk, and ambergris. Now, as far as the caramel goes, I cannot pick up that note whatsoever. So I was expecting this fragrance to have a little bit of a sweet gourmand quality, but in my opinion, it does not. Now, this fragrance does have a slight sweetness to it, but again, I do not pick up caramel. So overall, I think that slight sweetness is really coming from the fruits. And I definitely do not pick up raspberry per se. However, I can see there is a slight tartness. It is definitely in the background. So I would imagine that's probably coming from the raspberry. So because this fragrance does have a slight sweetness to it, I would classify this fragrance as unisex, but I would still say it's unisex leaning feminine. Now, it's really interesting because when I first took a look at the notes, I would have probably thought this fragrance would lean on the tropical side, but I wouldn't say that. Even though there is pineapple and some other notes that may typically be classified as tropical, it's more just fresh and zesty than tropical. Now, even though I typically gravitate towards more sweet or gourmand fragrances, Because this fragrance still has some fruity and just a slight sweetness to it, and the way it is mixed with the leather accord, oh my gosh, this is just a beautiful fragrance. So if you think you would like a slightly fresh, slightly citrusy, slightly fruity, slightly musky fragrance that is heavy on the pineapple and also lily of the valley, I do think you may enjoy this fragrance. But if you are expecting a straight tropical, fruity, sugary gourmand, then this may be one you want to skip on. And one thing I'm really finding and discovered this past year is that I really appreciate a leather note or accord, especially when it's mixed with other fruits or other slightly sweet notes. Now, when I smell this fragrance, I just picture myself wearing a beautiful white flowy gown in the middle of summer with the sun beating down and warming up my skin. But surprisingly, because this fragrance is more on the fresh side and because it does have that sandalwood base, I really do think I'd be comfortable wearing this fragrance year-round. So let's give this fragrance a spray, that way you can see the beautiful atomizer. Now, it's not the best atomizer that I have in my collection, but it is a good one. A nice kind of broad mist. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is such a beautiful fragrance. It is one of those fragrances that you just want to keep smelling. And you know, something I really appreciate about Misiarte is that they did decide to add a slight sweetness to this fragrance. You know, if this fragrance was not sweet at all, I actually don't think I would like it, because I just need some sort of sweetness in my fragrance. And I feel like it has just enough to still be sophisticated and wearable. Now, if you are worried about longevity or projection, you do not have to worry about it with Misiarte. Now, no, I would not classify this fragrance as beast mode or anything like that, but this has amazing longevity and pretty great projection as well. So overall, yes, Misiarte is definitely a slam dunk fragrance for me. Now, let us all know in the comments down below, have any of you tested out this fragrance? If you've picked it up, let us know all of your thoughts down below. All right, you guys, well, I really hope you enjoyed this review of Misiarte. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.